All right, notes 4.5 are on finding equations of lines. This is the first day of 2 days worth of notes that we'll be doing for this unit and for this topic. So the first thing we need to do is write out what the slope-intercept form is. And this is something you guys already know. The equation of any line will always be y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, all right? And remember, your y-intercept is your starting amount, okay? The point-slope form we're going to skip for right now. So let's take a look at question number 1. Number 1 says, find the equation of a line that has a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of 3. Well, you need two things to find the equation of a line. You need the slope, which is 1/4, it tells you the slope, and you need the y-intercept, which it also tells you that it's 3. So if the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, and you know both pieces of information, your equation is nice and easy. Instead of x, I'm going to, this right here should have been a b. So we're going to say that this is b right here. So instead of m, we're going to replace it with what m is, which is 1/4. And instead of b, we're going to replace it with what b is, which is 3. So your equation is y equals 1/4 x plus 3. So let's take a look at question number 2. Find the equation of a line that has a slope of -2. So this time I know what m is. It's -2. And I know, and it has a y-intercept of +2. So I know what the b is. So then your equation would just be y equals mx plus b, right? And you know the m, and you also know the b. So the m, I'm going to replace it with -2, and the b is +2. Okay? All right, so question number 3. Determine the equation of the lines shown in the following graphs. So same thing, I need to know what is the m and what is the b. Well, to find the m, I just have to have a starting point and an ending point. So here, my slope, it went up by 3 and it went over by 1. So remember, it's rise over run, and this is just like we talked about in class. So it went up by 3 and it went over by 1, so the rise over the run is +3, okay? And then the y-intercept is where it starts on the y-axis. Well, it starts at 2. So the equation of your line right here would be y equals 3x, because that's the m, plus 2, because that's the b, okay? So now, let's try this last question, question B, with the same type of a problem. So I need to figure out what is the slope, how much is the rise, how much is the run. So to find out the rise, I'm just going to look at it. It starts at this point right here and it ends here. So the rise is -2 because it goes down by 2, and the run is 3, so it's -2/3, okay? And then the b is just the starting point, which is 5. So the equation of your line is just y equals mx. Instead of m, you're going to replace it with -2/3 plus 5. Okay, and then you're done with that problem right there. All right, so now in question number 4, it says find the equation of a line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 3, 1 using slope-intercept form. This is where things get a little bit more difficult. So, same thing, you need to know what the m is, and you need to know what the b is. If you read through the problem, it tells you what the m is. It tells you that the slope is 2, so m equals 2, all right? But then it says it has to pass through the point 3, 1. Now this 3 and this 1 right here, neither of those numbers are your y-intercept, because if you look at 3, 1, if you're to graph it out, it ends up being at this dot right here, which is not on your y-axis. So you don't know your y-intercept. At this point in time, that piece of information is unknown. So guess what we have to do? We have to solve for that piece of information, okay? So y equals mx plus b, all right? Now, don't forget that we know the slope, right? So I'm going to color code this with the same colors we had before so you can kind of understand what's going on. So mx plus b. We know the slope. The slope is 3. The slope is 2. So I'm going to plug in 2 for my slope. So y equals 2x plus b. All right, now right here, this 3 is your x coordinate. So I know that this is an x. And I know that this 1 right here is a y. So every time I see an x, I'm going to replace it with 3. And every time I see a 1 or a y, I'm going to replace it with 1. And that's because right now I have 3 variables, and all I care about is figuring out what b is. So I need to plug something in for each one of these variables. So if you notice right here, I have a y. Well, I know what one possible value of y is. It's 1. So instead of y, I'm going to replace it with 1. So I'm going to say 1 equals, I'm going to copy everything else down. Now, notice how there's an x here, and x is 3. So I'm going to substitute this 3 in and replace it instead of x. So 2 times 3. And then I'm going to say plus b, because I don't know what b is yet. Well, guess what? Now I can easily solve this equation. So I end up getting 1 equals 2 times 3 is 6 plus b. Now all I have to do is subtract 6 from both sides. Sorry, I'm going to write minus 6 right here. Subtract 6 from both sides, you end up getting negative 5 equals b. So b is no longer a mystery. I know that b is negative 5. Okay? Now that I know what m is and I know what b is, I can plug in my information. So m is 2. So y equals 2x, and then b is negative 5, so minus 5, and that's the equation of my line. Okay, now let's see if it really does go through the point 3, comma 1. So right here, remember your b is your starting point. So this is your y-intercept. So I'm going to start at negative 5 on the y-axis. So there's my point right there. And then the slope is 2, but remember it needs to be a fraction, so it's 2 over 1. So the rise is 2, so it's going to go, starting from here, it's going to go up 2, and the run is 1, so I'm going to go to the right 1. So it goes up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And watch this, up 2 over 1, it goes through my point, so it works out perfectly for me, okay? I'm going to keep going, just so I can have a bunch of dots, all right? And then with your ruler, you're going to connect your dots, draw your arrow on your line. Do not forget to do that. Also, do not forget to write your equation on your line. So y equals 2x minus 5. Now I'm done. I know it has a slope of 2 and it goes through the point 3, comma 1. This type of a problem requires a little bit more work than the previous 3 questions that we did. All right? If you have questions, let me know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to skip over question number 5 and look at question number 6. Find the equation of a line that has a slope of negative 2/3 and passes through the point 6, negative 5 using any form you would like. Well, so far we've only learned one form, so we're only going to use the slope-intercept form, okay? So we know the slope. That's not an unknown piece of information. We know it. But it does not tell us what the y-intercept is. So the y-intercept is unknown, okay? Now, we do have an x value of 6. So we know that this number right here is x. And we know that this negative 5 right here is y. So remember, when we use our equation y equals mx plus b, I'm going to color code it so you can kind of see where all of this stuff comes from. So the y, we have color-coded right here, equals m, we know m is negative 2/3, so m, x, we know. Right here, the x is given to us, so I'm going to color-code this purple so you can see where this is all coming from. Plus b, we don't know, but we're going to try to figure this out, okay? So, again, plug in your information. Y is negative 5. It tells you so right here, okay? Equals, m is negative 2/3 because it tells you so right here. So this is negative 2/3 times, you know what x is. It tells you right here, it's 6. So negative 2/3 times 6. And I don't know what b is, so I'm going to say plus b. Okay, so now I have to figure out what negative 2/3 times 6 is. So I'm going to do this on the side so you can see how we do this. We've done this many times. So negative 2/3 times 6 over 1. So you're going to look and see this 3 and the 6 are both divisible by the same number. They're both divisible by 3. So when you divide 3 by 3, this becomes a 1. When you divide 6 by 3, this becomes a 2. So this becomes negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Okay, so you end up getting negative 5, right? You just bring it down, equals. This turns into negative 4 plus b. Now all I have to do is add 4 to both sides in order to solve for b. So I'm going to say plus 4 on this side and plus 4 on this side, which means that negative 1 equals b. So b is no longer a mystery. So that means that the final equation that you have right here using your m and your b are as follows. I'm just going to erase this right here so I can write out my equation. Y equals negative 2/3 x minus 1. Now, if I want to graph this out, I would start at negative 1 on the y-axis because that's the y-intercept. And then the slope is negative 2/3. Remember, only one number is allowed to be negative. So if this 2 is negative, this 3 right here has to be positive. So I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. Okay? Down 2 and to the right 3. Or, like we said before, you could make the 2 positive and the 3 negative, so that means you would go up 2 and to the left 3, up 2 and to the left 3. It's your choice how you want to do it, okay? Connect your dots with a ruler. Draw your arrows on your line. Write your equation on your line, y equals negative 2/3 x minus 1. And then check to make sure it goes through the point 6, negative 5 right here. So 6, negative 5 is right here. It's on the line, so it went through the point, so now I know I did it correct, and I'm good to go. Question number 7 says to find the equation of a line that has a slope of 0 and passes through the point 5, 4. This is very tricky, so make sure you guys are watching this, okay? If it has a slope of 0, we have already determined that any type of a line that has a slope of 0 is horizontal. So here you're going to have a horizontal line, okay? And it has to go through the point 5, 4. So for a question like this, what I strongly suggest you guys do is just draw a sketch of it. So if it goes to the point 5, 4, I'd go to the right 5 and up 4. And I would put a dot right there. And it's a horizontal line, correct? So that means that it has to go straight across. Well, if you notice, it crosses the y-axis at 4. Also, if you notice, this coordinate right here is 5, 4. If I were to figure out this coordinate right here, just a random coordinate on the line, it would be like negative 7, 4. This coordinate right here is like negative or positive 3, 4. If you notice, all of the y values here are all 4. So the equation of your line is simply y equals 4. Okay? So similarly, question number 8 says find the equation of a line that has an undefined slope and passes through the point 5, 4. So this time, because the slope is undefined, it's going to be a vertical line. All right? So since this is a vertical line, right here, I would go to 5, 4 again. Don't forget to label your axes, x and y. All right. So here's 5, 4 right here, but it's a vertical line, and it crosses the x-axis at 5. All right. Also, if you notice, this coordinate right here is 5, 4. It crosses the x-axis at 5, so this is 5, 0. Any coordinate on your line, this is like 5, negative 7. Right? This coordinate right here would be like 5, 10. Any coordinate on your line, the x value is always equal to 5. So the equation of this line is simply x equals 4. Okay?